Hi MicroMaster students, my name is Ryan Wilson and today I'm going to be showing you how I go about solving a constrained optimization problem in Excel. So here we are in problem 7, the pasture cheese factory, and what I've done is I've taken these tables that were given to us and I've put them here in Excel. So part 1 is simply asking us for various costs by cheese. So yeah, they want us to show the cost for the X-ray processing or for the check weigher. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this table down, and really they're asking us for a few costs, but we're just going to show all of them. So let me delete these values. I'll change these labels to read cost. I'll change this one too. Okay, so then what we want to do is write one formula that we can copy down and across. So we're going to take this value, multiply it by X-ray dollars per minute. And so when we copy this down, we want this reference to stay right here. And as we copy across, we want the reference to come over to this cell. So to do that, we'll need to do a mix cell reference. Put a $sign right here before the 7. Okay. So when we copy that over and down, we'll get our values. And just to show that we wrote that formula correctly, you can see it's referencing the proper cells. So now we'll add a column for unit cost, and we'll just use the format painter here. So unit cost, we'll sum up these values just like that. Okay, so these 3 values are the cost that part 1 is asking for. Okay, so before we move to part 2, I'm just going to show you a quick copy and paste trick. If you come down here to the sheet tab, we're going to rename this part 1. And okay, so here's the trick. If you hover over the label, then hold down, you left click, and then hold it down, you'll see this little sheet image up here. And now, while holding the left click, if you hold down the control button, you'll see the little cross that pops up. So now I'm going to drag this over to the right. You see that little arrow up here? I'm now going to let go of the left click, and now let go of the control. And so what that did was it just created an exact duplicate of that sheet. So the reason I like this is because as you're moving forward to different parts of the question, you can save all your previous work and pretty much just keep the, keep your previous work intact in case you ever want to reference it in the future. And so yeah, just a pretty cool trick. I definitely have used this throughout the whole entire MicroMasters course several times. So hopefully you'll find that useful. Okay, so for part 2, we're just going to change all these values, use back to black. Oops. Okay, so for part 2, we want to find the profit contribution for one piece of cheese for each of the different types of cheese. So we'll create a couple of columns here. Called unit revenue, and then unit profit. And once again, we'll use the format painter here. Okay, so it's kind of clumsy sometimes adding or subtracting values when some of them are vertical, like so, and then some of them are horizontal. So I'm going to take these values, Control C, come down here, and Control V, hit Control, and go to transpose. And so now we have the exact same values that are up here, but now they're vertical. So we'll come up here and just delete these. Delete this table. Okay, so now for the unit profit, we can just sum up or do revenue minus cost, and that will give us the unit profit for each of the cheese. And we will just highlight those in red because this is what part 2 is asking for. Okay, so once again, we'll use our little copy and paste trick and create part 3. So let's change these back to black. Okay, so for part 3, here we want to find the maximum profit that can be obtained while following our constraints. And so we're going to copy and paste these values here. Then we'll just delete these. And because these are going to be our decision variables, I'm going to give it a different color. And then for now, I'm just going to put in some dummy values. Oops, let's change these to comma. Okay, and now we're going to add a label for minutes used and X-ray. Okay, so to get the total minutes used, so there's a few ways we can do this, and one way, which I call a more tedious way, is you can just take one value at a time, like here, multiply it by this plus this one times that plus this one times that. So yeah, this is pretty tedious, especially if there's a lot of values. And so another formula or function you can use is called the sum product, and this is where you just multiply arrays. So you take this array, comma, times this array. And so that gives you the exact same answer. You can also do sum product, the array, and this, instead of a comma, you multiply it. And this is actually the way that I prefer to use sum product. Okay. And then there's even another way. You can just use a simple sum function. Same thing, take that array, multiply it by this array, and then instead of pressing enter, you hold down Control Shift Enter, and that will array enter the formula. So yeah, each of those formulas, we wrote them in different ways, but they all give the exact same value. And so you can pretty much choose whichever one you like. Like I said, I prefer the sum product with a multiplier inside of it. And that's the one we're going to use here. So go check layer, format paint. And actually, we're going to come up here and change this to quantity. Okay, so minutes used, we'll use that sum product formula. And because we want to copy this over to the check layer, we're going to push F4 and lock that times, oops, okay. So now I copy it over. Okay, get the values there. And lastly, we're going to add a constraint. Okay. And the values that they gave us in this problem was 8 hours. So we'll do 8 times 60 to get us the minutes. And I'm actually breaking an Excel rule here by hard coding the numbers. And then 9 hours times 60. And because these are constraints, I'm actually going to change the color and make these green. Okay, so now we're just going to solve the optimization problem. We'll do total profit up here. And we'll make this red. Oops, make that red. We'll go equals sum product unit profit times the quantity dollar. And so we'll go to solver. G3 is our objective. Max, we want to max out profit by changing these 3 variables. We'll add a constraint. These should be less than or equal to this. Go OK. Change that to simple LP and solve. And we'll adjust the column. And there you have it. There's our answer, $1,239. And part 4 is also asking for the quantity of cheese. So we will highlight those in red also. And then just change this to part 3 and 4. Okay, so that's how I go about solving an optimization problem in Excel. So some takeaways here. Any problem in this class as far as optimization goes, you can solve it in Excel. However, I encourage you to learn SAS or any other software for optimization first before going to Excel, just because you know, when you get into the real world, you're most likely going to use you know, a software such as SAS, and you probably won't use Excel if you're doing optimization. But at the same time, Excel is a really good way to actually learn, kind of see what's going on when you're doing these optimization problems. Another key takeaway is just the copy and paste that I showed you earlier with the tabs. Like I said, I've used it several times throughout this course. It's a really good way of just kind of bookkeeping and just keeping, you know, your previous work like intact. And another thing you're going to want to look up are these dollar signs, like how to use them if you don't already. You'll definitely be using them a lot in this course. And so if you want to look up mixed cell references, absolute references, and relative references. Those are the 3 types of references you can use the dollar signs for. And then lastly, we cover the sum product formula function. And once again, later on, like in SC0x, SC0x, you'll see that function pop up again. So yeah, so right now is a good, it's good to get used to that function, how it operates. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.